Ragnar Lothbrok lies dead in the Northumbrian dirt. Veins choked with Anglo-Saxon wrath and viper's venom. Revenge was swift. His sons laid waste to the British Isles, splintering the land and slaughtering all who opposed them. The Viking horde swept west, an insatiable force that brought Alfred the Great to his knees. But some men can only be pushed so far. The year is now 878 AD, whilst Norsemen settle land they once pillaged. Alfred of Wessex seeks to unite the Isles under one banner. But here stand a new wave of the ambitious and hungry, ready to stake their claim to Britannia. Kings will rise. One will rule.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Thrones of Britannia, a Total War Saga. Now, having watched that rather epic little cutscene there, welcome. For those of you who aren't familiar with Total War, it is, well, the way I would describe it is it's a gateway to grand strategy. It is a strategy title. You've got your empire, you've got to manage the logistics of the empire, usually there's some sort of supply mechanic and building up cities and so on and so forth, and recruiting armies. Armies are at the core of the Total War games, because when your armies clash, unlike in other more kind of macro scale strategy games, you don't just watch the armies have a bit of a fight and then get told what the outcome is. No, you get to go in there on the micro scale and start to control the units, or rather the companies of archers rather than individual archers, so on and so forth. Which is why I say it's kind of a gateway. It's a bridge between milder strategy and the much more macro scale strategies where actually controlling individual battles is beneath you as the commander of a massive army and an empire, so on and so forth. Now, Thrones of Britannia, obviously extremely close to my heart, given that it is set in my homeland. And what's more, it is really set in my homeland if you actually choose the right faction. So we're going to be jumping into this. We are going to be starting a new campaign. I have played about an hour or so just to re-familiarize myself with the controls, shake off the dust from when I used to play Total War Warhammer. I still think they missed the boat there on calling that Total Warhammer, but there we are. Right, new campaign. Now we have 5 factions. We have the Viking Sea Kings, Dublin, and Sudrayar.
Our foes shall fall.
Different ones. Basically, the Viking Sea Kings culture has certain features, and then each faction, individual faction leader, brings certain advantages to it. You've got the campaign difficulties over there, and it'll give you a rough idea of how difficult the initial challenge will be. You'll also get to see where they're going to set up. So, for example, this one set up there. Here would be set up here. You've got the Great Viking Army. Again, different sort of setups. And I'm giving everyone, if they're interested in the lore, time to have a look at it. I'm not going to read through each one, because I know where I'm going to pick. I mean, come on, I can choose to play as the Welsh. It would frankly be a dishonor if I chose to play anything else. But notice that the Great Viking Army is initial challenge hard. Then you've got the Gaelic kingdoms, so the Scots. Normal, but tricky diplomacy. We've got various benefits there. Then, now I'm probably going to mispronounce this. A Mead.
For the glory of the Gaels.
The setting up in Ireland there. Again, normal. You've got the English kingdoms.
All forces in good order.
Which is normal. And once again, West, CX.
We will do our
easy.
utmost.
So I guess that one would be the one to go with if you were starting out. And they do have an enormous amount of territory, to be fair. Then we get to the Welsh kingdoms. Now, I can only assume this is true of the Gaelic kingdoms as well, in that, and possibly the Norse as well. I get the impression that the people who translated this couldn't say a lot of the words and couldn't even wrap their head around how they were being pronounced, and just took their best shot. And I'm gonna say first and foremost, as someone who struggles sometimes to pronounce names, that's fine. You made a good, honest effort. Well done, you. And that's the last I'm really going to say on the fact that almost every single Welsh name is misspelt or mispronounced, and it's just the way it is, okay? And it will hurt my soul a little bit. Sometimes I'm even going to pronounce them as they've written it, because it'll be too confusing if I pronounce it the way it's meant to be, because some of them are that far off. But I appreciate that the Welsh alphabet and the Welsh language does, for some people, appear to be an alien language, because, I mean, on a genetic level, some people just can't move their tongues in the right way. Legitimately, there are certain genetic factors that allow you to make the sounds that are required to pronounce all of the Welsh alphabet, and some people just haven't got it. So for them, I don't know, their brain probably just thinks, this is dragon language. Mortals aren't meant to be able to pronounce dragon words. With your silly names. Fair enough. I'll take her on the chin.
We
right.
are Arthur's folk, true of heart.
Now, let's start out in Scotland there, which is interesting here. I'm not particularly interested on this one, though. Of note, both Welsh kingdoms are
Every man
hard.
will do his duty.
So there we are. Right, we will be playing as King Anarud, and we are going to be ruling Gwynedd. And obviously, because this right here, I don't even know if this I didn't actually think to check, but Harlech. Literally, this is where Harlech is, more or less, where my mouse is. I might be like a few kilometers off. But if there is a castle in Harlech, you may actually find that if we ever get attacked there, I will launch into song before the battle. Because it would frankly be dishonoring my blood if I did not. I may even launch into song at some other points. It's hard not to, okay? Right, so we're going to be going with campaign settings. I'll just leave it on this. I think the default is also have a battle limit, but I've turned that off. If the battle takes me an hour and 5 minutes, it's going to take me an hour and 5 minutes, and it'll be a long episode, and hopefully it'll be really full of awesome tension, rather than just like, I'm waiting for my guys to move from this side of that to the other. If it's like that, I'll just cut it out. But it'll be as long as it has to be, especially in sieges. Right, so let's actually have a bit of a more detailed read. The people of Gwynedd have some claim to the title of true Britons. Having been driven to the far west by invaders who now call themselves English, renowned both for their bardic arts and the skill with the longbow, the Welsh of Gwynedd thrived under the leadership of Rhodri Mawr, or Rhodri the Great if you prefer. Rhodri kept Gwynedd largely free of Vikings and other invaders while expanding its borders. Now he is gone, and his lands are divided. Can Anarud live up to his father's legacy? And this is amazing. I love the cultural influence of the Welsh. Heroism! That's right, we are heroes, all of us! Wales is a land of heroes. Earn heroism by winning battles, owning Welsh land, and ranking up generals to gain bonuses. +5 supplies in all own or allied territory. And +5, I guess that's morale. Morale in own regions, all armies. And for Gwynedd, generals' followers. Increased bonuses from followers. Legendary battle sites. Stand in the shoes of heroes long dead and share in their glory. Undertake missions to occupy settlements or become allied with your Welsh neighbours. And very strong spearmen, good missile infantry, and exceptional archers. I like it. We can have a quick look at the victory conditions as well. These are just the general victory conditions for the entire. Most of them are like, you've got your conquest victory conditions, your sort of fame ones, and I think this one is more specific to the group, but it might still be the same sort of thing of just own enough territories. But the territories we would need to claim for these types of victories are these. I'm not sure if the ultimate victory is tempting, but that would require a much longer series. Complete any of the long victory types and then eliminate the Viking invasion fleets. I'll bear that in mind. Right, so with that all said and indeed done, let us begin. Are we going to be treated to any kind of cutscene? I don't remember if we were. But again, like I said, whoever translated this, I'm sure they gave their best effort. It's not like every game company can afford to hire an actual fluent Welsh person to translate their game, even if it is set in Wales. I wish they could. It would be a lot more money for people like me, but alas, it is not something that we can reasonably expect. They made a good effort. There are certain letters, though. For example, I will point out, I'm going to pronounce it Gwynedd because that is the actual name, and it is not a single D, it is a double D, which is a single Welsh letter. It might be made of two letters in, for example, the English alphabet, but double D is a single Welsh letter, and so this is Gwynedd normally.
Your father united Wales, but now it is divided between you and your brothers. There is a tension between you, all wishing to rival your father's achievements. We have been lucky. The Vikings ravaged the other lands, but left Wales untouched.
Too afraid.
They crippled the English, our ancient enemies, leaving them vulnerable to attack. With Wales united under your rule, the English will fall before us. Our future is in your hands.
I will do my best. My brothers.
Thankfully, your land was spared the devastation wrought by the Great Army. Even so, there is no time to be lost.
Indeed.
After building up your strength, take advantage of the disruption in England to strike while they are distracted and weakened. Prove yourself your father's greatest son and bring victory home to Wales. Your army is ready, awaiting your orders. Attack and defeat the rebel army gathered near your capital to remove the menace they pose.
Very well. Now, the beginning of the game is going to be fairly tutorialized. Even in about an hour of play, I was still getting lots of tutorial tips coming up. I've got to just say, I didn't want to say while the cutscene was going on, because it is a pretty cool cutscene. But I love the art. I really like this kind of foil pop-up kind of art style they've gone for. It's really, really cool. It's very striking. We should stabilize internally before we look beyond our borders. Prove your right to rule and eliminate the nearby rebels. Okay, and we'll gain internal stability for 5 turns. Right here, let's have a look. There's a bunch of stuff that we can have a glance at. And I will try to cover the UI elements when I'm told to look at them. I could spend the first episode just looking over the UI and the various bits of information that we've got, and the whole 40 odd minutes would just be used of me looking over the interface rather than doing anything. So instead, we'll just check things out as we come to them. But understand, I do have a little bit of an idea of what we're already going to be doing. Right, well, the first thing it wants us to do is go and have a fight. Now,
Every man will do his duty.
of course he will. So, currently we've got one army. We've just got a normal stance. We have a wife. Yes. We've actually got children as well, if my history is not incorrect about the time period. Or at least at the very least, Anaru does eventually have children. I'm not sure about the exact date of right now, but right. So we've got 2 archers, 2 spearmen, and a scout horseman. Very well indeed. Now, one thing I'm not sure of is this little green bit there. I wonder what that's got to do with things. Maybe it's that it is normally lower, but it is a little bit higher right now, perhaps. Or this is a comparison. I'm not really sure at all. But oh yeah, that looks like it's telling me what the comparison is, but it still doesn't. That little bar is showing me what the difference is between 2 separate units. But that little green thing there, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe we'll find that out. We'll learn together. The white shields. Oh, I like it. Very well. Okay, well, let's get into more then. Okay, battle deployment. We will go ahead and actually fight manually, but first, can I not check that out now. Damn. I do want to see if I can adjust the dialogue volumes, because it is a little bit quieter against the music in the background. I desired to live worthily as long as I lived, and to leave after my life to the men who should come after me the memory of me in good works. Alfred the Great. That's a reasonable aspiration. Right, the rebel army, led by Elfin. No command, no governance, no zeal, no loyalty to me. Obviously, he's a rebel. No influence to speak of, and 36. We are 28. Okay, we definitely got kids at this point then. We have got 5 influence, 2 command, 1 zeal. And we very greatly outnumber them. We can have a look at the various abilities. We've got excellent spotting, pretty much everything, so we don't really have to worry about that. And the units are going to be good at what you expect they're going to be good at. It's a fairly common sort of thing now. Spearmen are better at cavalry. Archers are usually just good at everything except anything that can get close, so on and so forth. But I imagine that as we develop a little bit further and technology starts coming in and we unlock different units, there'll be much more of a complex setup rather than just straight up rock, paper, scissors. Okay, let's start the battle. There's nothing else for us to do. As the attacking force, you may choose to wait for more favorable weather conditions before commencing your attack. Chances remain 3. Current weather rain. Effect. You will not be able to access flaming arrows, and buildings are harder to set on fire. We'll wait. Dry. There we are. No adverse effects. Started by. I don't know if I want to use flaming arrows, but you know. Right. Okay. So, as per many Total War games, we can move the camera around a little bit. We can't zoom out particularly much, but that's fine. So what kind of units have you got again? You've got melee cavalry there, levy. Oh no, that's the general. Sorry, you've got archers and spearmen. Okay, so we've got more troops, but you do have a reasonable force. Certainly nothing that I can afford to ignore. I'm going to have my general with my horsemen. Actually, no. My general's going to stay with my army. My horsemen are going to be used to try and move around the back. But what I want to do, the first thing of any battle, set up control groups. There we are. I want both my spearmen on the same control group. That'll be number 2. And both my archers on the 3rd one. There we go. Now, currently, Skirmish Mode is active. In Skirmish Mode, units will keep a safe distance from the enemy. Skirmish tactics can be employed to slow an advancing enemy or distract specific units. Skirmish units are vulnerable to cavalry charges. That's fine. Let's actually see what the flaming arrows are like. Actually, same amount of damage as it happens. Base reload time is 30 seconds. Base reload time is 30 seconds. Base damage is just higher. Target 5 projectiles, 12 seconds, -4 morale. Has a considerable morale impact and does more regular but less armor-piercing damage. Most efficient against lightly armored enemies and buildings. These values are further modified by the unit itself. Okay, that's good to know. Toggle guard mode, other such things. Let's actually have a look at all of the things we can do. Loose spacing. Okay, until we're actually close to attack, I want all of my cavalry units to be using loose spacing. What about my spearmen? Units can't move in this formation, but they will be safe from missile attacks. Alright. Got a wood that we might be able to use to get a little bit closer to the enemy here. Might be useful. Might be useful. Though we could bluff the army. Sure, we're going to actually have our horses move through the woods and try and get up closer, and then we can run around behind them. We are indeed. Alright, let's get the second one.
That's the way.
And should I move my archers through there? Tempted, actually. Sure. We'll try and position them. They're going to be a little bit exposed, though, if I do that, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know if the woods are going to affect them in terms of...
to the rear of an enemy formation can be devastating. Keep your cavalry in reserve, and then hammer the flank or rear of the enemy.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Right. I'm going to try and play this without pausing too much, but I'm not going to sacrifice, my effectiveness in the game by absolutely never pausing, no matter what. That would be for someone much more competent in the game than me. Let's just move up there for now. We will move forward. About there, and my group can move up as well. Don't gallop. Move slowly. Move with your men. This'll do. As they get a little bit further ahead, I'll allow you to move a bit faster. We've got some abilities. There we go. Let's allow speed to move forward. Now, you are the more dangerous. The spearmen are by far the more dangerous. Okay, they are splitting up a little bit. That's good. They can clearly see me. But don't yet know about my...
units have been discovered.
Oh no, they have been discovered. Oh, that's fine. They're repositioning. Because they now have that information available to them. You know what? Let's get up there. Keep my general with the army. How are they going to proceed? They're not really pushing forward at the moment, but I want to force them to have to try and decide which way they're going to be facing. So, over here, please. You guys move as a group. Yeah. And we'll move our archers up as well. They will probably have to move eventually. That's going to be a little bit widely spaced. Fine, they're probably just shooting at me. Right, I want you advancing, but at a slower pace. You too. There we are. Right. You should be in position. Okay. We need you to not let them get to my archers, honestly. This is the problem with not having my not having it on slow mode, because I miss little things like that. We should be able to meet them there, and actually, I would like you to attack them from behind. Okay, the horsemen have driven my archers all the way back. My archers are trying to reposition though, but my horsemen have managed to connect there. And we are being attacked from the rear here as well. Get over there if you could, please.
They flee before our might.
Good. How are we doing? Let's get a little bit of extra morale for my troops. And slow down time a little bit. Now the only sad thing about the slowing down time is that when you do it, you start hearing the unit sounds. Which is a little bit of a shame. Now we are being attacked repeatedly. They're doing a good bit of damage here. Right, where am I?
The battle is turning in our favor.
Good, good. Get up there and attack. Charge into them. My general, they're starting to flash now, which means they're probably going to leave soon. Got fairly low morale. This one, they're not going to be able to leave realistically. They're stuck in there.
The enemy general is dead.
There we go, good. Keep it up. Alright, their general is down. Combined force of our archers and our general, taking them out. Go ahead and just run them down, please. As for my archers, do what you want, really. In fact, I'm going to tell you, AI group, attack. Just attack someone, whoever they are. Can you go for that? No, we win. I was kind of sloppy with the way I just left my archers completely undefended. I really should have sent one spearman unit with them, just so they could blunt any cavalry charge. I considered it at the beginning, but I thought, no, it'll be fine. They won't be seen until they were, and then, oh, well, too late now. There can be no doubt this is a great victory. The enemy are dead or running for their lives. I'm not going to say the replay. We don't need to see that. All right, let's have a look. Not much damage to us, honestly. We lost 55, deployed 441. They deployed 255 and lost 239. Very well. They killed 50 of ours. I wonder what the other 5 died to. And we killed 231. Maybe they just broke? I'm not sure, really, on that one. Right, okay. So, decisive victory. And we can now choose what to do. We captured 41 enemies. Very well. Kill the captives. We're not going to do that. Take on warriors. Take those willing to fight into your army, replenishing your ranks. Their inexperience in your forces, however, will affect your army's skill. Units replenished by 2%. I don't think we need that one. We can make a little bit of gold, though. We'll ransom them back and release the captives.
Warriors, into position!
Enemy killed in battle. Elvin deceased. Or, I guess, Welsh, it'll be Elvin. Opponent, Anarud, commanding the White Shields. Location, Aberfro, Gwynedd. Our noble enemy has fallen in battle against... I like that, our noble enemy. They were Welsh, after all. We should stabilize internal... that is being completed. We've now got a reward. Heroism. Grow your reputation. Keep the faith and your nerve. When you build up your reputation as a warlord by taking decisive military action, soldiers and peasants alike will begin to speak better of you. Marvelous. Okay. Let's see. Bravery and fortitude are the very best qualities in man and can both be found amongst the heroes of the Welsh. Increased heroism by winning battles, owning Welsh land, and ranking up characters. Heroism naturally declines as time passes. +1 stability to all regions, +2 morale to all armies, and +2 melee skill for all... Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. My lord. Okay, so melee will be interesting, despite the fact that we are actually primarily a better range army. I'm going to go ahead and duck in here, where we will replenish our units a little bit faster. General details. Oh, did I gain a skill point? Oh, I did. Marvelous. Okay, so... oh, wait, no. No. Yes. General... This is Anarud, I take it. Yes. Yeah, there we are. I wasn't sure because it was like it's giving Gwen. I imagine is the name of my wife. But over here, just general. It's like okay, maybe this is someone else. Right. So we've got a bunch of info over here. We've got a point to spend. This woman is a harpy. She demands that the rules be observed to the very letter. Okay. I'm sure she is lovely. +1 command, +1 zeal, and +1 loyalty. Okay, nice. Right, these are traits of Anarud. Friendly, -5% upkeep costs for all units. Decisive, +1 command point. Shabby, if only he took better care of himself. -20% chance of having children. Enthusiastic, +5% charge for all units. Here is a man who gets involved, showing a keen interest in and enjoyment of every aspect of his life. Oh, that's lovely. Defender. Inherent. This man has been defending what's his for so long that it's become a notable aspect of his character. +5 unit morale when defending. So these are benefits that we've got. For example, we've got the ability Rally 1, which you saw me use. +10% to my commander's aura. Military force. These are the things that are affecting my military. Region and province. +1 local own province. So if I'm in a province of my own, I'm given a bonus. And it would only be mine, not an ally's. Okay. And my wife is contributing these aspects. Now, my influence. Current is 5. My base influence is 4, and I hold 1 estate. Influence represents a character's political power. Your faction will gain various bonuses and penalties based on faction leader's influence. Other characters will have a loyalty penalty if they have higher influence. That makes sense. Okay, so followers. We can level up followers. And we've got a siege engineer. If breaking into places is your goal, this man will make it happen. Useful. Priest. This man has heard the word and wishes to pass it on to others. +2 loyalty. -5 local enemy province. So if we're in an enemy province, then this is going to cause them to destabilize. Quartermaster. +10% campaign movement range. Okay. A pillager, +10% ring income, and -4 enemy morale in the local province. A forager, +8% unit replenishment, and +8 food production. When campaigning, it makes sense to bring someone who knows how to find provisions anywhere and everywhere. So in the local province, it's just +8 to food production. I guess that would be... Does my army then just produce food? Maybe it does. But everyone stops to hear his hummable tunes. and enticing rhymes. +2 zeal. Scribe gives us governance and some more money. In this increasingly complex world, there is an ever-increasing number of documents to be created, copied, and preserved, unfortunately. And champion. Powerful men attract enemies. This one ensures they never get too close enough to strike. +2 command and +10 melee skill for the commander's unit. Let's have a quick look. If I gained an extra 2, I'd have Rally 2, +40% size of my bodyguard, and would enable night battles. +2 unit morale when the general is alive. If we went for Scribe, -6% since we're not running an estate, I believe one of our brothers is running an estate. That is our third brother who didn't actually get any lands. And let's see, if I gained extra 2 zeal, we would actually have a pretty good morale to our followers. So what is Commander's Aura then? What is Commander's Aura? I guess just the effect of our morale on people nearby? I'm tempted to go for zeal. What does the Bard build up into? +15 fame, that's actually pretty good. Champion. Let's see where that goes. +15 melee skill. +15% chance charge bonus. Then armor. Tempting. But I think we're going to go with the Bard. I think it makes sense. So there we go. We've gained 2 zeal as well. So now, +3 stability in our local province, and our units gain a bit of extra morale. And I guess Commander's Aura would be the distance of our aura. That might be what that is. Okay, I am pretty happy with that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and just check something. I would like to have a look at my faction. Governors and estates. These are available. Yorwerth, Arthwale. Yours our brother. Okay, and you are governing Gwynedd. Right, yep. Perfect. You seem to actually be a fairly good governor. Let me just double check that. Where was it? Yes, you had governance of 5, so that's pretty solid. You got zeal of 5, my lord. Okay, well, Yorwerth, maybe I should be getting you a bit of a army. Okay. Estates help ensure character loyalty. Characters will be unhappy if they have fewer estates than their faction leader. You can only move them from your faction leader to another character. To get more for your leader, you must construct estate-giving buildings, conquer regions containing those buildings, use the strip estate action to gain them back, or kill an estate-owning character. Select a character from the list. Okay, so... what estates do you... That's my estate. You have none. Alright, that's actually quite interesting. Characters will be unhappy if they have fewer estates than their faction leader. Well, I mean, surely that's normal to not have as many estates. Wow, you've got a lot of influence. That's a problem. You've got a lot more influence than me. At any rate, we're going to be here for now. Unit rank 3. Ooh, very nice. Let's actually find out about you. What does that help with? Unit rank 3. Does that give me... Oh! That might be what the green is. The green might be indicating what is higher for this unit over the basic amount that unit would have if it was just a fresh unit. Alright. Nice. Very, very nice indeed. I like that. Right, we need to replenish our numbers, but I would also like to recruit some units as well. Let's increase the size of our army while we're here. I'd like another cavalry if we could, and we can. We've got a ridiculous amount of money, so yeah, let me grab... Alright, it's going to take a while for you to build up, though. It's a bit of a pain. Very well. I would like a decent cavalry charge. But I would also like some melee units. We've got one sword infantry we could take, or we could take some axemen. Or some more spearmen. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Javeliners. They can hide in forest, resistant to fatigue, ignore terrain. They can snipe. This unit remains hidden while firing. Ooh. The humble levy's javelin can puncture infantry armor and impale horsemen atop their mounts. As the 12th century historian Gerald of Wales put it, the people of Welsh lands were ever trained for war, from their leaders down to their peasantry. He described a people who, if the situation required it, would rush from their ploughs without hesitation to pick up weapons as quickly as the courtier from court. Their rough and hilly terrain resulted in earlier traditions of Celtic culture being reflected in more military terms. For example, a heavily armoured combatant such as a feudal horseman would have difficulty operating there, so Welsh warriors relied more on agility in war situations rather than brute strength. Where rival armies who fought them relied on stubborn resistance, the Welsh relied on constant movement. In broad terms, the organisation of Welsh troops was arranged between those in the essential household force, known as the teulu, and the individuals of the expanded common army, the llu. In broad terms, the organisation of Welsh troops was arranged between those in the essential household force, known as the teulu, and the individuals of the expanded common army, the llu. The throwing spear, or javelin, was one such genus of weapons... genus. It was a genius weapon. One such genus of weapons they used, with the thrusting variety not always entirely distinct from the throwing variety. The advantage of the javelin thrower was the ability to potentially pierce through shields and armour from distance, but this was offset by the reduced range and limited output compared to standard archers, since there were only so many javelins a thrower could carry at one time. Javelin throwing was certainly a unique skill, with the most skillful Viking warriors allegedly even able to catch spears in mid-flight to hurl them straight back. Ooh, that's kind of scary. Right, missile damage... Ammunition, 7. They only got 7. What's your melee skill? It's okay. Oh, next upgrade would take it up to 10. Ah, upgraded stuff. So that would be the rank. Right, I'm starting to get a better idea. Yeah, sure, we'll bring along a javeliner as well. There we are, and they will replenish up to the next strength shortly. That's fine. For now, that's good enough. I could take more, really. Apparently I can. Tempted. Let's focus on getting a solid army, though. One thing we need to be aware of, units minus 80 characters and buildings. Yeah, we've got to balance this. Do not tax the income of food, or you're going to really regret it. Right, so let's go ahead and... I don't want to control you anymore. I would like to have a look around. We've got a couple of places that can make food. Right. Aberthrow. We could go for minus 20% food production. Not liking that, honestly. But that's increasing our Great Hall would be quite nice. It would increase the garrison there by quite a lot. Maybe instead we should focus on this, though. More supplies, which our army would pick up whilst around. And more food production, which we are going to need to build up a larger army. Yeah, okay. We're going to spend that. It's going to take 8 turns to get it. And we've got a couple of other buildings here and there. So, first, we could go for you. This would increase food production by an extra 10. Yes. Okay, it'll take us 4 days to do. 1,000 gold as well. Or 1,000 money. But it'll also increase trade. That's what I'm assuming that implies. That currently we make 77 from trading with the produce of the farm. +1 estate. Siege holdout time. +1 siege holdout time, rather. Okay, go for it. And over here. Where's this one? Right. Yeah, I think we're going to go for the food production for now. That one is a much higher priority for me, so that we're able to feed a bigger army. And eventually we're going to need more than one, obviously. But for now, this is probably enough. Right, do we have any tasks at the moment? Do we have any goals? Objectives? Missions? No, we have no missions. Very well. Looking into technology, not necessary just yet. So we're going to just pass the first turn. The very first one. We're this far into the episode and we haven't even passed the turn yet. But there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to need to read. A lot of things I'm going to need to familiarize myself if we actually hope to succeed. Considering this is effectively starting on hard difficulty. And yeah, I'm not particularly good at these games. So my pride, my Welsh pride, has damned me to play on hard mode. Okay, well, let's see. We're making a decent bit of cash, actually. Right, I would like to check out.
Folk, true of heart.
We've got full supplies. Remaining action points. Where does it say my supplies? Food upkeep per turn. It requires 80. Situation, garrison, safeguards the local settlement. Recruitment enabled. Plus 100% unit replenishment. That's nice. And a bunch of morale. I think that's all. Here's our supplies. An army consumes supplies from its stockpile each turn and will suffer defections should its stockpile run out. Stockpiles of supply are replenished when in home territory or by raiding when abroad. That's fine. So we're gaining those supplies, and it's going to be nice to get that fully set up. We've got a bunch of action points as well. We could... Yeah, we're just going to have to sit on that for now. We could further develop our provinces, though, if we really want to. Let's have a look. It looks like we can actually develop everything if we want to. What's our current faction? What's the state? It's reasonably good, actually. But 5 of that is from events. And 5 of it's from characters. If you were to leave... What are you causing? Like, I believe that you are actually +3... We're going to want to change... We are going to want to make sure that this place doesn't suffer from any kind of rebellion. So I'm going to go ahead and build that right now. Okay, that seems like a reasonable turn. And for now, the turns are going to be reasonably fast. Oh, that's amazing. Do we actually have Harlech? No. Really? Really? How could you leave out Harlech Castle? Well, I'll have to find another excuse to sing Men of Harlech. Damn it. The turn ends to take... Ooh. What do you think you're doing, Englishman? Okay, sorry about that. Lady Sheelap had to pop in for a moment just to tell me something about Tilly. Ah, that bloody cat. If it is not distracting me directly, it's distracting me through proxy. Okay, anyway. So, what were we doing this in? Right, yes, you've just moved in. Not particularly happy about that, I must confess. Let me have a look at diplomacy. How are we doing right now? How are we doing? We are not doing too well, actually. As it happens, hostilities. It's kind of improving, but not doing too good. Why? Events in their territory, military actions against them, past wars with them, treaties with Powys, event in West Mooringus. Okay, Powys. This would be the seat of power of one of my brothers. Merwin, we're actually really good on good terms with Merwin. Treaties with them. Events in... okay, so they're hostile with them. I guess that makes sense, as they're sharing a border. Military actions against them, past wars against them. Yeah, okay. And what about my other brother? Not as warm. Not as warm. Okay, well, very well. We will bear that all in mind. There's not a whole lot that we can do about it, though.
We will serve you well.
I'm a little bit concerned. A little bit concerned about this. Currently trying to build this up. Well, there's nothing we can do. If they're going to attack, they're going to attack, and we can't get to the top. It's going to be a pain, but no, they went back. Good. Good. That's right. Scurry back to your homes, you scallywag. Not that it's going to help you, because I may attack you instead, because it's clear that you're willing to trespass on my lands. If nothing else, you've been stealing rabbits. Probably. I mean, you know, an army marches on its stomach. It's got to get its food
My
from
rank
somewhere.
has increased.
What? Ooh. This character has an unassigned skill. Ah, my brother. Okay. You do not have a wife. You have equal amounts of influence to me and quite a lot of loyalty. A loyalty represents a character's dedication to the faction. If loyalty reaches 0, the character will defect, thereby instigating a civil war. I don't think we have to worry about that. You're handsome. You're urbane. +2 local province. Stability. He has a courteous, refined manner about him, which puts others at ease. A born governor. A forward thinker. +1 siege holdout time. Good. Loyal. And a negotiator. Okay. Pretty good. I think given you being a governor, we'd get you a scribe. -70% corruption and +21% construction cost. Sorry, -21%. That would be a decisive negative if that was plus. But I noticed you have no wife. Let us see. Can we seek you a wife? Find this character a suitable bride amongst the ladies at court. This political action can be resolved instantly. It'll cost us 800 gold. Alright. Let's see. Gwerthil. Gwerthil. It's a matter of breeding, you understand. Noble, okay. +2 influence. -1 loyalty. Yeah. Oh, +2 influence. I don't particularly want to make you more influential, really. I think that would work against me. I'm going to turn... Well... This bride seems suitable. Will her intended accept the choice you have made for him? I'm really not certain on that one. It would make you more influential and less loyal. Those are two things that I can't afford, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to turn it down. That's a bit of a shame. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. We'll try again next turn. I will find a bride for you, brother. Right, so, on this
man will do
turn...
his duty.
I don't know what that is. If we move over here, I think because... Yeah, armies will suffer losses because it's cold. It's very, very bloody cold right now. Okay, well, we're going to move over and take up position here. We're going to help the garrison and also increase our reinforcement speed. I think that would be a wise move. Let's have a look at our economy at the moment. Tax level is pretty normal. It looks like it has no negatives. We could perhaps drop the tax, could we? We'd gain some extra stuff, but no. I think we'll leave it where it is for now. And that's actually really nice, but that's with a +5. Let's actually have a look at you. As the events are giving me 5, so the buildings are -2. We'll see how it goes. We will see how this all goes. I'm not going to raise an army because we haven't got the supplies for it. War fervor. War fervor measures people's appetite for war. On higher difficulty settings, you lose more war fervor for each war you're engaged in. We've apparently got +5 for treaties, +5 for events, so I guess we can handle a war at the moment. That's reasonable. Heroism is only 13. We need to get more. We definitely need to get more. That'll be something that we will work toward. But we're going to pass another turn. I can't help but feel that you're going to be a persistent thorn in my side, actually. I may need to deal with it now, rather than let it get too annoying. I might need to actually instigate that war rather than wait for it to happen against my undefended flank. Natural causes. Angharad is dead, age 56. Life is taking its toll upon our venerable subject. They are no more. I believe Angharad wasn't. Let me just double check. I'm worried about saying it because if I'm wrong, that's going to look really bad considering. But our scouts are reporting that a small raiding force from Wincing has been seen approaching Britannia from the south. We expect them to arrive in a few months. Okay. But I think, Mother... Yes, Angharad was Anarud's mother. Ah, see? I know my history. Many, over 1,000 years ago now, but I know it. Okay, well... Let's go ahead and see what we can do. We've got one more day on... Actually, have we finished any of those? Let's have a look at the events. Buildings constructed. We've constructed the cattle grazing and the fishing village. So we now have 25 food flowing in. Marvellous, I say. Absolutely splendid for us. We could increase it even further and get extra... And I think that is probably quite wise. We could also increase industry, but that's going to increase discontent because people are having to work these mines, I imagine. How much money we got? Well, I promised my brother something. And I'm not a man who breaks his promises. Very well, let's have a look. Let's see. Arrogant. This woman has an inflated sense of her own importance and abilities, which has proven unhelpful to her husband's career. -1 influence. -1 governor? That's unfortunate, because that's what I'm trying to build for you. But it would give you some level of command and some level of zeal. Character's resolve motivational skill. Character's ability to lead troops into battle. Command level is affected by trait. I'm going to say yes. It will reduce your influence, which is actually kind of good for me. Hopefully, this is going to be okay. And also, you're a much closer age. It shouldn't matter, but I want them to have long lives together. Find it. There's quite a precedent within history for there to be remarkably large disparities between age, but it would be nice if they're of the similar age, and that way they'll have, lots to talk about. So, similar sort of interest and the same kind of stage in their lives. Very well, take her hand. There you go. Your influence has dropped, and that is unfortunate. And also, your governing ability has dropped, and that, again, is unfortunate. But it's not terrible, in my opinion. Not terrible. Okay. So, your command, though, has now given you rally. So if you have to defend that garrison, it's not going to be too bad. Plus, with zeal, you've increased the local province happiness. So that actually does work out reasonably well for us in the end. All things taken into account, I'm reasonably happy with that one. Yes. Okay, how is Anarud's army doing? Another turn and we'll have full there. I think at this point, though, let's go ahead and build up a little bit more. Let me select one of these. Can I afford it? No, I can't afford it now. Shame. Shame. This will be done in one more turn, and that's going to bring us a lot of stability. At that point, we can start, well, now I've kept my promise to my brother, we can start working on building up a lot more in the way of food. I would like to recruit some units from here. Now, it does seem really useful in that you can recruit wherever you want, which is pretty cool. Could get another skirmisher, actually. Or maybe some more spearmen, perhaps. Tempting. Maybe just some regular melee infantry. That would also be good. Let's have a look. Valley spearmen. Let's have a look at the Valley spearmen. Swift and organized, the hillmen of the North Valleys make the deadliest spear bearers. In modern times, reference to the valleys of Wales are mostly associated with the industrialized regions of the south. Yes, I am a valley boy, as it happens. But in historical accounts dating back to the early Middle Ages, the Valley Spearmen of Wales refers to the tradition of Welsh warriors, which originated in the north. All infantry of medieval Welsh armies were known for their agility and aptitude in operating in the rough, hilly terrain of their homelands. And while the men of the south were renowned for their prowess with the Welsh longbow, the regions around the historical northern country of Merionethshire were known for their tough spearmen. Often dressed in red linen shirts and long woolen cloaks, they were depicted as having wore only one shoe with one foot kept bare, likely as a way to keep their balance in the hilly landscape. They were particularly effective on marshy or broken ground, which always favoured them against heavy cavalry or heavy armoured infantry. The lightly armoured Welsh spearmen were well drilled in the use of phalanxes and long pikes, but as much as their agility in their own landscape was considerable advantage, without it they were often at risk of being overrun by better equipped opposition, as was the case during their crushing 13th century defeats at the hands of the English under Edward I. Required trained spearmen. The spearhand's strength does not come from numbers alone, but also from the presence of trained individuals. Spreading the word of our need for learned spearmen will bring them forth to take their place in our battle ranks. Unlocks recruitment of Welsh spearmen, replaces the Welsh levy spearmen, and Valley armoured spearmen, which replaces the Valley armoured. Research rate 100%. Okay. Well, before we wrap up the episode, let's go over the way that the technology tree is worked. Well, it's not like in some games where you get in a certain amount of technology points and you can spend them as you please. You have to unlock them by doing certain things. For example, to unlock the melee specialist, we need to recruit 10 sword and or axe infantry units. To unlock the spear specialist, we need to recruit 10 spearmen units. So on and so forth. Most of these are exactly the same. You need to unlock a certain amount of something or other. Attack another army 10 times to get bodyguard and companions upgrade. Raise a general to rank 10. Okay, and cavalry units, recruit 10 cavalry units. Very well. Recruitment, we need to get to the last node over here. Very well. Civic. Build or upgrade within the granary or souterrain chains, or conquer a region with the highest level building in one of these chains. Okay. So that's how you unlock all of these various things. So it's probably going to be a long trial to get to those things. But all right, spear specialists, recruit 10 spearmen units. I do like my spearmen. It is true, but I also like my archers. Well, shield, castle, disciplined. This unit does not suffer morale penalty when the general dies. It can also rally after routing more often. Hide in the forest and expert charge defense. What about you? What do you have? Shield, castle, expert, charge defense, hide in the forest. You're not disciplined. That's the difference. How about you? Expert, charge defense, hide in the forest. We need to unlock various things for that. We can't get the catapults or the warhounds until we've gotten these things. And that's actually a very good point in favour of getting just melee units. We want warhounds. Let's have a look at our axemen. Okay, these men will fight under orders as servants to the cause of their people. Okay, decent amount of melee. It's the 12th century. Well, I'm gonna ration out the amount of reading that I do, because otherwise it'll fill up the episodes a little bit much. Actually, these ones we've already gone through anyway. Disciplined Raider. This unit may set buildings on fire, cause more fire damage with torches, and capture faster than other units. Very well. 36. Okay, decently armoured. Sure, I'm going to take you along. There we go. That is going to increase the amount that we need by a fair old whack. And I think possibly another javeliner as well. There we go. That should do for now. But that's where we're going to wrap up this first episode. I do hope you're enjoying it, and do leave me any feedback or tips in the comments below. Heaven knows I'm going to need them, but that is going to be it from me. So do leave a like if you liked, sub if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.